Now we're going to get into the American Sentinel. One of the things that I've heard people say is, Lee, you've bred so much pit bull into your band dogs that you've lost a little size. Are you going to try to get that back by breeding into a mastiff? No, I'm not. Why? Because I'm trying to produce the best dog that I can for protection work or hog catch work. And honestly, there's not a dog on the planet in a pure breed form that can outperform the pit bull pound for pound. Well, what size is the true game bred American Pit Bull Terrier when it's conditioned? Generally speaking, they are 30 to 50 pounds. That's where they are 90% of the time when they're conditioned. Well, let's double that. Let's go from instead of 30 to 50, let's go from 60 to 100. All right. If we can get dogs that are 60 to 100 pounds consistently, time and time again, and they maintain all of the desired traits of the pit bull, but we're going to add size and better protective instinct, then we have the ultimate protection dog in the world. Now, we have had dogs that are in the 65 to 80-pound range. That's where a lot of them are. And some people are like, Lee, you're kind of getting away from that 100-pound range. I'm not concerned about it. I can easily get it back by following some of the protocols that I've outlined in this video. Let's look at some of the pedigrees here, and I'll show you how. Okay, so if we come down here, we see that this combination here, she's about 60 pounds, and he is about 90. So that's 150. You divide that by 2, you're basically going to get out 75. But breeding doesn't work off percentages. This is one of the problems that a lot of people make. Breeding works off of traits. All right. However, let's look at another one. Another breeding we're going to look at is Bam Bam, who's about 60 pounds, and Trinity, who's about 80 pounds, 82, I believe. Well, 60 and 82, add that together, and you have 142. All right. Divide that by 2, you got 71. So that's an average of 71 pounds. But again, breeding doesn't work off of percentages of let's add it together and divide by 2. She is 90% pit bull, 90.5 to be exact, and he is 54. Take 90 and 54, that's 144 divided by 2, 72% pit bull. This one here, 100% pit bull, 80% pit bull. You add that together, that's 90% pit bull by the time you've divided it by. So you got 100 plus 80 divided by 2, that's 90% pit bull, and yet these dogs are going to still be a fairly decent size. They're not going to be big, but they're going to have fairly decent size. Next, Bumper and Pumpkin. This dog is 54%. This dog is 100%. That's 154 divided by 2. You're talking about 77% pit bull. Again, percentages of breed foundation does not mean the traits are going to be that way. This is just a general, super dumbed down, genetics for dummies kind of way of approaching things. You still have to look at the traits. And so you'll notice, though, we've done a lot of breedings that are going to be very high percentage pit bull. So it is a legitimate concern. Are you going to lose the size? Well, let's look at some of the dogs that we have on the yard. All right. Now, this dog here is about 90 pounds. He's 54% pit. We've got Cobalt, who's only 52% pit, but he's also only about 85 pounds. So low percentage of pit bull for his size. It says 90 pounds. I think he's probably closer to 85. He's not that big. He's a thick dog, though. This is my smallest male. Okay, we'll come back to him later. Hannibal is a big dog. He's going to be, I need to update this. He's out of scratch in Onyx. He's going to probably be maybe even 100 pounds full grown. We'll have to wait and see. And he's going to run around 50% pit. He's like 49% pit. That's going to be the lowest percentage of pit bull that I have on the yard. This dog here, though, he's over 90 pounds, and he is 69% pit. All right. So this is a dog that's going to be able to throw some size if we want to. It says 96 pounds. He's probably closer to 94. All right. But he's going to be able to throw some size. Why do I say that? Let's look at his pedigree. So this is Ranger. He's off of Frankie-Bomp and Valkyrie. So we've got a lot of pit bull influence coming from Frankie-Bomp. But what do we know about Valkyrie? Valkyrie was a very big dog. She was 110 pounds. She was a daughter of Preacher Man and Blue Jean. Blue Jean was a daughter of Achilles and Lynn. Lynn was a daughter of Leviathan and Tara was a daughter of Asia, or Tosa Inu. So we have a 90-pound dog here, a 100-pound dog here, a 140-pound dog here, and a 100-pound dog here, and a 110-pound female here. So we've got a lot of size on this pedigree. All I have to do is take Ranger back to some bigger females and then select accordingly to select for this size while also selecting for these traits on behavior and performance. So I want this size and I want this behavior and performance. That cannot, it's not going to, that's not going to happen all the time, but it's going to happen some of the time. So we're going to select accordingly. Okay. Next, let's look at another dog that we can use. So we've got Hannibal, we've got Ranger, and then we got Rebar. Rebar is off of Slam and Elsa. Slam is off of that Lucky 7 stuff. So we've got good size on the Pitbull strain with high performance of the Pitbull strain. And then we have Patches. Patches is a very big female. She was over 100 pounds. She is a daughter of Wrecker, bred back to his granddaughter, Mystique. Mystique is a granddaughter of Wrecker. She was sired by Reptar, and Reptar is the son of Wrecker. So we've got a lot of size coming in through here, and he is 80% pit bull. That's right, 80.5%. And I have his sister, Trinity. Now, we also see Elsa is she's a daughter of a 100-pound dog named Justice, who is a son of Preacher Man, who is a 100-pound dog, who was the son of Eclipse, which was a 150-pound dog. And so while Preacher Man's sire was only about 50 pounds, there are some genes in here that can throw large size. Now, if that was the only big dog in here, I wouldn't bet on that. But if we look at it, we've also got size here, size here, because this goes back to Levi and the Tosa Inu. And then we come down on our bottom side. Yes, we have some small dogs from the Pit Bull again. This is going to be that heavy Mayday Barracuda stuff, which is Red Boy Jocko Bolio Tombstone. But then we also have the Valkyrie dog, which is, again, that big dog that we just looked at a minute ago. So we see that we definitely have some size on in some of these males. Now let's look at the females that we have that we can use. I have Biscuit. This is a very large female. She's going to be probably in the 85 to 90 pound range. She's a big girl. Okay. She is off of Scratch, bred back to his mother, Halo. And why does that matter? Well, if we looked at the pedigree here, we'll see that we're going to have a lot of Valkyrie influence. So not only do we have the Justice with the Preacher Man and the Blue Gene and the Eclipse and all those big dogs there, we're going to also have the Valkyrie, Preacher Man, Blue Gene, and more of that same stuff because it's double bred on Valkyrie here and also here. So we've got Valkyrie coming in the bottom side and Valkyrie coming in right there. Okay, so there's a lot of size coming in through this Biscuit dog. And she's able to throw it. We've already confirmed that because we've bred her before, and she's definitely throwing some good size. Next, Bullet 2. This dog here is going to be probably finished around 75 pounds. We'll have to see. She's got good size to her. She's very athletic, and she is ripped. This is basically a giant pit bull. Okay. Chewy. Chewy's about 70 pounds. She's right here beside me. Great guard dog. Okay, so Chewy is basically a heavily line bred Preacher Man dog. We've got Preacher Man bred back to a pit bull on the top side to make Vlad. But then we go to Chewy's bottom side. We're going to see a lot of Preacher Man here because Justice is the son of Preacher Man. Halo is off of Valkyrie, who was a daughter of Preacher Man. Justice, son of Preacher Man. And then Widow is off of Wrecker and Tiggy. Tiggy was a daughter of Preacher Man, and Wrecker was very heavily bred on Preacher Man. Let's look at Wrecker's pedigree. Wrecker is, we've got Boss, which is Captain Skip, Captain Skip, Captain Skip, Captain Skip, Eclipse, 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 and Snatch. So when I say heavily bred on Preacher Man, it's a line, not just an individual dog. Preacher Man is right here, but then Gator right there, and Bandit right there are Preacher Man's full sister, as you can see in the pedigree right there. Okay, so that means that Chewy is a individual that if we're able to get pups off of her, she should be able to consistently throw the preacher man influence. That's why she's such a great guard dog. Dolly. Dolly is not a giant dog by any means. She's probably only going to be about 65. She's probably closer to 70 pounds. She's pretty thick. And I need to update the website. But let's look at her pedigree here. And we can see that Preacher Man influence is up close, Preacher Man influence up close, Preacher Man influence up close. Because even though this is not Preacher Man, we just saw his pedigree heavily bred on the Captain Skip Eclipse stuff. Okay. And then we got Little Hurton, which is going to go back to some big dogs because we have this is an English Mastiff right here, Caesar. All right. That's going to be how Dolly is put together. But let's look at, and we've already looked at Elsa. We have Kimura. Kimura is a dog that is off of Slam bred back to Banshee. So this is going to be a 90% pit bull. This is a smaller dog for sure, but she's got some big dogs in her. And this is what I was talking about of having a line that is an outcross. It's not a total outcross because it's going to be heavily influenced on dogs that you're already using. And so you'll see that this is an American Sentinel patches, right? The other dogs, what are they? Pit bull and pit bull and pit bull. So because we have so much pit bull in here, we wanted to make sure that the Sentinel strain was a very big dog, and it was. It was an inbred record daughter. Okay, so she should be able to throw some size, even though she doesn't have a lot of size herself. The thing is, she's not going to throw it consistently because that's only 25% of the pedigree. Some of those dogs will get size, but not all of them. All right. And Lucky Seven also had good size in him. Next. Well, so Lela-Jean is off of Scratch in Onyx. This is Hannibal's sister, and she's probably going to end up being around 90 pounds. This is going to be a big girl that we can use in the future. Makeda, she may or may not be staying here. There's a lot of really good traits about this dog. She's a daughter of Danger and Hops. Hops goes back to that Midgard Pele. And since this is a Mastiff type dog, she's like 98% Mastiff or 97% Mastiff. I was hoping that her offspring off of Frankie-Bomp would have been bigger than they are, but they were pretty small. You know, Ebony being a 50% Mastiff dog, I would have liked to have seen her in the 80 to 90 pound range, and she was pretty small. But I didn't give up on her. We bred her back to one of our bigger males, and Hops was a prospect that we had on that sideline. We're not really putting it much into the main line, but I bred her to Danger because this is a very nice dog that's got some record influence that I'm talking about. And I'll tell you, this dog here is piss and vinegar. And we bred her once, and she had some very nice pups. So we'll have to see how it goes with her. We may be sending her out to Texas to breed back to a dog named Split that was kind of a beast. It's got some good size to him, too. Next, Mercy. All right, so this is Mercy's pedigree. She is a daughter off of Hair Trigger and Scratch. Now, Hair Trigger is a dog that has a lot of drive and great athleticism, good confidence, good nerves, good endurance, but she was very racy built, and I didn't like her build. So even though she had a lot of performance traits, this is one of those things that you can allow but don't really desire, but you can allow it because the performance is there. So I took her back to my favorite male of all time, basically Scratch, in order to produce Mercy. We'll have to see how that goes. She's young. She's looking very solid, but she is smaller than I would like. But like I said, we've got some bigger dogs, and we still have more to show you. All right, next, Nova. Nova is a well-known dog that has proven to be a great producer. She's off of Frankie-Bomp and Onyx. If you don't know her, then you don't know our program. So we're going to go ahead and skip her pedigree. If you want to see it, it's on our website. Good producer. And this is Onyx. She's up there in age. She's about 10 years old now, and she's been a great producer. She is the mother of this dog here. Next, we have Reaper. Reaper is a very big female. She's going to be pushing close to 90 pounds. And it may say less than that on the website because she was a little thin when she got here, but she's pushing close to 90 pounds now. And she's looking stronger and stronger. I was a little concerned about how well she's going to be. but she's gotten really adjusted really well now that she's here, and her defense and prey is both looking pretty solid. Great athleticism, very well built, and beautiful dog. Trinity is going to be a major role player in terms of getting the size back, as potentially her sister Maggie. Trinity and Maggie both have a lot of good traits, and they're heavily bred on the record stuff, which is where we can help ensure the size coming back into the future Sentinels now that I've done the pit bull crosses that I've intended to do. All right, so by taking some of these females that I've shared with you that have good size back to some of our males that now have the pit bull influence where I want it to be, you can see that we will be able to get the size back where I want it to be in time with the proper selection. The two biggest hurdles for me are going to be space and time. It would be nice if I had a crew of people to really work with to help advance it, because I can only keep so many dogs. And so sometimes I think, now that I've kind of accomplished what I needed to do with the pit bulls on the American Sentinel, should I outsource the pit bulls to someone else? Unfortunately, finding somebody that is trustworthy makes that very difficult, because you not only have to be an honorable person, you also have to be competent. And the pit bull community attracts a lot of people that are not really trustworthy. And then when you find somebody that is, a lot of times those people don't have a lot of experience with pit bull, so then they may be lacking in the competence department. And if I'm going to outsource a pit bull program that has taken me 26 years to establish, that's going to be a hard thing to do, to let it go. And so if I can't outsource that, I need to find some people that I can outsource some of the best Sentinel prospects that we have. And this is how we're going to keep that size of 60 to 100 pounds and not just 60 to 90. All right, I would like for it to be 60 to 100, basically double the pit bull, everything the pit bulls can be, and then more size, better protective instinct, but still checking all the boxes on the abilities of the pit bull. Anyway, that's about breeding better dogs. Y'all take care and have a blessed day. I hope you enjoyed the video.